What's going on, everybody? We are live, BoogiePod episode 37. Now, this might be the earliest episode we've ever done that I can think of. 4? What was last week's?
It's probably like 4:45 last week, I think. A little later.
Look, we're getting earlier every time. We got stuff to do. We're busy people. Busy people, man. How was your week, Jake?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
That's
good
good.
UFC card. Kind of good UFC card. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of good UFC card. The ending was sad, which we'll get to that later. But yeah, I had a pretty good week too. Nothing much sports happening, but there is rumors and stuff of sports happening, and we actually have a decent for it to be like you were talking about before this started. Jake was talking about July is like the worst month for sports, kind of, and you were talking about that, and that's true. But for July, we have a lot of things to talk about today. Actually, we're in the All-Star break in MLB. College football stuff are starting to ramp up. You know, they're only like 2 months away from starting. And UFC is always year-round. But we got a big card that's coming up weekend, then a bigger card even after that weekend. And some big news got announced in UFC this past week. Plus, you know, NBA always has something to talk about because it's drama over there. And NFL can be the same way sometimes. So let's get right into it. We have nothing college baseball or college basketball to talk about. So that leads us right into college football. Sankey, who I guess is the I couldn't really get exactly who this guy was, but I guess he is like the he's a big name in the SEC organization.
Greg Sankey's the commissioner of the SEC.
There you go.
He's over all these.
For some reason, I could not figure that out, and I was trying to do research on the guy. But he said there is no sense of urgency for the SEC to continue to expand. I personally agree with him. I think SEC is the best conference right now, plus the schools you're already adding. That makes it even a better conference. So I think there's no pressure for the SEC. Honestly, there might be more pressure to stay where you're at than there is to expand, to a certain extent, the way you look at it. But I wanted to get your thoughts and opinions on that.
Yeah, I agree. I think the SEC it's been in a good spot overall because, you know, whoever has Alabama and Georgia now always going to be in a good spot in college football. And, yeah. They're good at every sport, pretty much. Basketball, maybe the weakest out of the big three, but they're fine. They don't really need to expand anymore. I agree with him. I mean, I don't know who else you'd want. Maybe Clemson and Miami or Florida State, but I wouldn't be in a rush at all to do that.
No,
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. Like I said, SEC expansion, it could literally stay how it is, and I still don't think there'll be any other conference to be able to catch them. The only way you can make it interesting if Big Ten goes out and gets Clemson and like Miami and maybe a Florida State if they could be good in the future again, that would be the only way you could maybe even hold a candle to them. So I think they're fine where they're at. Moving on, Florida's quarterback, Anthony Richardson, his nickname, I don't know if you knew this or not, this is kind of like a little interesting topic or something to talk about, but his nickname was AR-15. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I knew that.
I did not know that. And then I saw it on the news today that he is now changing that for obvious reasons. What do you think about that? I thought that was funny and just something to throw in here.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of a funny nickname. And I figured that someone would end up complaining about that one day. I bet someone that worked for Florida told him, you know, it's probably good to change it.
If you're going to be a starter for Florida, you probably shouldn't have like the number one school shooter weapon as your nickname. So it's funny. But, yeah, it is what it is. Moving on. Now, this is something big, in my opinion. Probably the biggest news we've had in college football for this week. It's still not huge, but something definitely to talk about. Brent Venables has came out and he said he is confident in Dillon Gabriel's abilities to hone the Oklahoma's game plan. That's what he said. Kind of. I paraphrased a little bit, but that's about what he said. It's interesting. Now, you can look at that two ways. You can look at it as like, okay, cool. Dillon Gabriel, that means he is set. Or you can look at it as Brent Venables was he was really trying to say that he is fit for their game plan. Not saying that he is like this star who's going to take college football by storm. And Dillon Gabriel has not been talked about a lot at all in the offseason, and that's very interesting because he's the biggest question mark in that whole conference, at least. I mean, he is. In my opinion, he's make or break for Oklahoma. If he is not, Power 5 ready, they're going to be bad. They're going to be bad. It is what it is. But if he is Power 5 ready, they can win that conference. and make a playoff appearance. He is literally the key piece, in my opinion. And I thought it was very interesting to hear what he had to say, Brent Venables has to say, as we know he's a defensive mind anyways. So I'm very interested to see how Dillon Gabriel fits into all this. And he said he fits their game plan well. Well, what is Oklahoma's game plan going to be? Is he going to be a game manager and just hope defense wins games? Or is Dillon Gabriel going to be this, slugger that he was at UCF, where he threw the ball 100 miles per hour and threw it 100 yards down the field, and they ran Hail Marys every play? Like, what is it going to be? Because I think Dillon Gabriel and Brent Venables' matchup is completely interesting, because in my opinion, they're total opposites. Brent Venables is a defensive mind. Dillon Gabriel is, a slinger. I think it's interesting. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, if I was going to bet on how their offense is going to run this year, I would bet you it's a low-risk offense. Just do not turn the ball over. Let's run the clock out. Let's just try to score the bare minimum points, and we'll rely on our defense to try to hold the line a little bit. And maybe as the season goes on, you could see the offense starting to be more risky in a sense, where you take more chances. But I believe that in the first year Brent Venables as coach, he'll want to play a little more safe on offense, especially to see if Dillon Gabriel's got that star power in him or not.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought that was so interesting, the fact, because most coaches will just come out and praise their quarterbacks out the window, saying they're one of the best guys we've ever had, etc. Blah blah blah. But he comes out and says he fits the role for what we want to do. And I might be looking too much into that, but I thought that was really interesting, and he didn't just jump out and praise them like you would see other coaches do. So, and that also makes me really interested in what's Oklahoma's role going to be, because if they go completely defense, they'll be going like old Oklahoma, and definitely not new Oklahoma.
Yeah, definitely not.
They'll look more like an Oklahoma State than they will at Oklahoma. So I'm interested there. I think Oklahoma's going to be a really, really interesting team this year. One of the biggest question mark teams in the whole league, maybe besides their rivals, Texas. So, yeah, so let's move on to UFC. We had a pretty good card besides the main event this past weekend, and that's where we're going to go with is the main event here. Yair Rodriguez versus Brian Ortega. Yair Rodriguez was piecing him up on the feet early in round one. And, Brian Ortega has a big history. I don't know if he might have won, 1 or 2 first rounds in his whole career. He sucks in the first round. But he gets really good as the fight goes on. And he finally was able to get Yair down to the ground. And there's a lot of people saying that, Yair caused the thing with the submission. That's baloney, okay? He didn't cause it. Now, he got him there. He got him in a position where your arm has a better chance to be hurt. But it literally happened while Ortega was he was already out. He was getting up. And then then it popped. So I think that's bullcrap. Yes, did he get him down to is there a higher chance of your arm getting hurt while you're pulling it out of an arm bar than there is if you just standing up? Yes, but I think you're reaching a little bit there. But a great, not trying to take away anything from Yair Rodriguez. He looked awesome. He looked great standing up. Takedown defense showed until he kind of got tripped there at the end. But yeah, what's your opinions on this fight?
I liked what I saw from Yair Rodriguez a lot. His striking, he was kind of buzzing Brian Ortega a little bit. Like, you could tell in his face, it was kind of not feeling too good. Like, Ortega's known for his chin, and I mean, he can take a beating. He's kind of a human punching bag sometimes, and I feel like he relies too much on that in his skill set. But I think I would have said Yair would probably ended up winning that fight. I could see maybe later if Ortega survived to maybe get him down to the ground, but it might be too late. And I'll be very excited because they're probably going to do Yair Rodriguez and Josh Emmett for the interim belt. That's a good fight.
Yeah,
I think Yair Rodriguez is very good.
Yeah, and that gets to our next point of what's next for both these guys. You already said Yair Rodriguez, Josh Emmett interim belt, and I completely agree with you. And people are going to look at that and say, well, Yair Rodriguez just he's piecing up Brian Ortega, and then Josh Emmett just got a win over Calvin Kattar with a really close decision. I'm going to go Yair Rodriguez. And I'm going to stop you. I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit here. And I'll lean Josh. I'm not going to pick Josh Emmett or anything like that. I'm not getting there. But I'm just saying, don't count him out. Okay?
Yeah.
Because, and here's why. One, Josh Emmett, nuclear option. He always has that. He has more power than Yair Rodriguez. He does. Yair Rodriguez he has knockouts in his past, but they're all by these crazy, insane, his first 1-2s and stuff like that. Don't get knockouts, okay? Emmett has the power advantage, for sure. Now, does he have speed, technique, and all that other stuff advantage? No, but he does have one thing, and that's wrestling. And Yair Rodriguez did look good against Brian Ortega in the takedown defense, but here's what I want to say. Okay, they're training partners. They both know how each other shoot. Okay, he's defended that man's takedowns 100 million times. Okay, you know whose man he did not defend 100 million times? That's Matt Holloway's. Matt Holloway's took him down twice. Now, with that being said, I get it. It was probably more of I'm not expecting Matt Holloway to shoot than it was I couldn't defend the takedown. But it did happen twice. Maybe the first time I can see it. Twice, that's a little suspect. And then 2, Josh Emmett's a wrestler at heart. That's his background. He's like, you know, he's your classic wrestler. He has the heavy hand with the wrestling ability. He's like a Chad Mendez or something like that. That's kind of how he is. We also know Josh Emmett has a really good chin, so it's not going to be you're not going to be able to take him down easily. He's really tough, and he has decent stand-up himself, and I think he will try to take down Yair Rodriguez, and it would not shock me if he can. I think Yair Rodriguez stuffing Brian Ortega's takedowns had a lot to do with 2 things. 1, they were in the first round, so he's super fresh to be able to do it, and 2, he's stuffed those takedowns 100 million times in training camp. He has not done that with Josh Emmett. So I'm just playing devil's advocate. There's a path for Josh Emmett, but that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll go in. What do you think's next for Brian Ortega?
Calvin Kattar.
I agree.
Both coming off a loss. It makes the most sense. Plus, I think it'd be a really good fight. Yeah. They both have crazy chins, so I don't think anyone's going out that fight.
No, that's an awesome fight. Probably an awesome stand-up fight, too. I don't think there's no way Brian Ortega can get him down. Calvin Kattar's takedown defense is just too good, and I agree with you. That's going to be an awesome fight. And I think this also would move the division a lot better, too, because this would also kind of get rid of one of those guys. They can go kind of be a gatekeeper, whoever loses this fight, and then the winner can really step up and still say, I'm a contender. So I think that's a great fight to make, and I agree with you. Moving on, we have UFC London this weekend. Man, we cannot wait. UFC London 1 was awesome. It will be amazing if UFC London 2 can hold up to that this year. That's really high expectations. But we have the people on the card to do it, and that starts off. We're going to start off with the feature fight, I guess. It's the co-main event. I guess that's what you want to call it. Paddy Pimblett versus Jordan Levitt. Really, everyone that's going to be there is going to be there for Paddy the Baddy. If you've seen the first one, the atmosphere was insane. Probably the best atmosphere we've had in the last couple of years, maybe since the Conor fight. And, I mean, you could argue that atmosphere was better than Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. Like that, it was just crazy. Everybody in that whole arena, not a single soul was rooting against that man. And that's awesome for Paddy. You know, he just signed a new contract deal. His manager says he's getting paid good money now, and he deserves it. I mean, he puts people in those seats. It don't matter who you fight. I don't care what level of competition you are. If you're putting people in the seats, you should get paid. That's how UFC works. And but he has no easy test. It's against Jordan Levitt, who is a jiu-jitsu specialty. That is his thing. He's really good at that. But I think it's a great matchup for Paddy here. I think Paddy's really good with submissions too himself. He has great jiu-jitsu. I think he's good enough not to get submitted. And if it's a stand-up fight, he definitely has the advantage. Levitt's not that big of a threat at the stand-up at all. So, yeah, man, I'm leaning Paddy in this one. Who you got?
Yeah, I got Paddy. I think Paddy's undoing is going to be against a really heavy-handed, good striker one day with pretty decent takedown defense, and that is not Jordan Levitt. So I think, and if Levitt wins, the scene afterwards is going to haunt a lot of Paddy fans for a long time.
Yeah.
You know UFC, you know what Levitt does to people after he finishes them. So
yeah,
don't want to see that. I hope Paddy wins because I like his hype. I think he could be a star. Yeah, he's exciting. So I hope he wins.
Yeah, he definitely could be a star. I wish he'd go to featherweight, but there ain't no way the man will cut that much weight. So
I actually saw an MMA Guru video about Darren Till. How Darren Till gets really out of shape after his fights, kind of like Paddy Pimblett. And I think Paddy could have health issues one day because of that. Just off side point, but
no, I could definitely see that.
Really fat.
Yeah, he does.
After his fights, it's weird. You don't see that a lot.
No, it's really.
He should stay healthier.
Yeah, he should. And maybe he'll take one injury and he'll snap or something like that, or maybe
when he gets really close to a belt and things get really serious one day. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, moving up to the co-main, Jack Hermansson versus Darren Till. Oh, wait, no, sorry, Chris Curtis, because Darren Till's a wank. Jack Hermansson versus Chris Curtis. Man, I've done very little research for this fight so far. I'll do more research throughout the week. But in my opinion right now, this fight is 50-50. Now, you give Chris Curtis a training camp, I think he wins. But 50-50, man. I have this fight. I can see Jack Hermansson winning. I can see Chris Curtis winning. I'll go Chris Curtis right now. Right now, I'll go Chris Curtis. That's my boy, and I want to see him win. But, dude, this fight is 50-50. I'm looking forward to this fight, really. And dare I say, I might be looking forward more to this fight than I was Jack Hermanson there until. Almost.
Oh, yeah. I am. Yeah. I am way more excited for this fight now.
Because I just don't get it. Chris Kerr's the GOAT, by the way. Stepping up, give him all the credit. Even if he doesn't win this fight, he should be able to get right back in there with another ranked guy, easily. But, and, Jack Hermanson, this is kind of make or break for him right here, dude. You got to win. It's about getting that time. It's about you got to win. So I'll go Chris Curtis by decision. I think either guy's going to win by decision. I think this fight not necessarily is going to be boring, but I could see it kind of being a I defend takedown. Oh, you might have got me down late. Oh, I defend takedown. And I peck at you. I think it could be really similar to the Curtis and Vieira fight, his last fight. But Jack Hermanson's a little bit more respectful on the feet than Vieira is. So, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm not going to overthink this one. I'm going to say Chris Curtis knockout. I think Chris Curtis is that guy. I've not done research either, but I've seen enough Jack Hermanson and I've seen enough Chris Curtis in the past. I'm pretty confident Chris Curtis wins this fight. The training camp deal does concern me because I will agree if it was full training camp on both sides, Chris Curtis probably beats him pretty handedly, I think. I'm not very high on Jack Hermanson right now. And I like Chris Curtis. I think he's got something there. I think he could be a title contender very soon, especially if he wins this fight. And I'll have him by knockout, most likely.
Yeah, for sure. And then that brings us to our main event, which I cannot wait for, and that is Curtis Blades versus Tom Aspinall. What a matchup, man! They knew what they were doing here. That is awesome. But I'm actually going to lean the project himself, Tom Aspinall. I think he's just too good, and I think he is the man. I really do think he's a future champion holder. He has it. He has what it takes. I think he's probably the only person besides overweight Francis Ngannou who could beat Cyril Gane. I think Tom Aspinall is it, man. He has everything. He has striking, power, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. He has the four element. He has the 4 Infinity Stones. Okay, he has the Infinity Stones. He is that good. Tom Aspinall cannot wait for him to fight. And I think Curtis Blades is literally just a downgraded version of Tom Aspinall. He really is. At the end of the day, he is. So I'm going Tom Aspinall, and what I'm about to say makes it seem like it's going to be a blowout, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think these guys are very similar. But I got Tom Aspinall knockout round 1. I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna clean him. I think he's gonna clean him. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna take Tom Aspinall. I've not done a lot of research on this, but we've seen Curtis Blades fight, and Tom Aspinall is very, very good. I agree. I think he'll at least fight for a belt in the next year or two, as long as something really bad doesn't happen to him.
Yeah,
he should be in the conversation for the belt. I have him winning. I don't know in a knockout though. I don't know. I could see it going late. Maybe something happening late, like a late stoppage knockout, or maybe into a decision.
Yeah. And I want to tip my cat real fast to Curtis Blades because his last fight against Kyle Dawkins, dude, that knockout against Kyle Dawkins is one of the most underrated knockouts so far. He sleeps him bad, shadow round. So, tip my cat to Curtis Blades, but I think that's what's going to happen to him in this fight. Moving on. Actually, something that a lot of people's not talking about. One of the legends of the sport, I guess you could say, Frankie Edgar has asked for his retirement. He is going to retire, but he wants one more fight, and he's eyeing Dominic Cruz. Interesting fight. I don't know what Frankie Edgar's ranked. I should have probably looked that up before this. I have no clue what Frankie Edgar's ranked, but I know Dominic Cruz is 5, 6, 7, something like that. He's right in that middle part. So that could be a big jump for Frankie Edgar if they actually get that fight. Or maybe Dominic Cruz, and I'm not going to make my prediction now, but low-key kind of a free dub for Dominic Cruz in my opinion. I think Frankie Edgar, he's not there yet. He's not like he used to be. Frankie Edgar does always have that... Actually, you know what? No, I think Frankie Edgar just won his last fight against Pedro Munoz. He did. He just beat Pedro Munoz in decision not too long ago. I swear he did. Hold on, I'm looking it up.
Sure? Frankie Edgar just got front kicked by Chito Vera not 4 months ago.
Dude, I'm telling you. Hold on, I'm looking it up. Hold on, everybody.
Frankie Edgar.
Hold on.
Yeah, he just got front kicked, KO'd, meme style.
Frankie Edgar. Yeah, you're right. He did beat his last win was against Pedro Munoz in 2020, though, in decision.
2 years ago, yeah.
But Corey Sandhagen knocked him out in round 1 2021, and Chito Vera knocked him out in round 3 in 2020. So there's that. But, so with all that being said, it should be a free dub for Dominic Cruz. But Dominic Cruz's chin is a little suspect, so there's always that opportunity. So, what do you think about that Frankie Edgar retirement fight?
I don't think Dominic Cruz will take that fight, mainly because it doesn't really help him at all. The upside's all on Frankie Edgar if he wins that fight. Like, and I don't know. He said it was his last fight. He wants that to be his last one.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Dominic Cruz is going to do charity work and let that happen because I don't think it's really beneficial for his career right now because he's on the last bit. This is his last run, I would say.
Yeah.
For Dominic Cruz, and I think he needs to fight up and hurry to get to. If he's that good to get a title shot, still he doesn't need to waste any time. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
just don't ignore Frankie Edgar. Who cares? Yeah. Let him fight somebody else. Yeah. Let him fight someone he'll win. Yeah, you know, he'll win against, not against Dominic Cruz.
No, yeah, I agree with that. So moving on, we actually had a big fight announced this past week. Everyone's so excited for it. Everyone's excited.
Fight of the year.
Dude, this might sell the most besides Stipe and John Jones out of the whole year. I mean, it has a chance. It's in Abu Dhabi. You're going to get all the Russians by it. Dude, I'm telling you. This is a sleeper high pay-per-view number. Oliveira versus Islam, especially if they throw Hazmat in the co-main. Dude, that's going to be a crazy card. But Oliveira versus Islam, we're going to do our early predictions. Jake, I'm going to let you start it off. Go ahead.
Well, you know how I feel about Islam and all them. No, I'm not a big fan. His crew, all those people, his manager. No, not like that.
Just playing.
Yeah, I told you, I don't mind the Russians, just those Russians. They annoy me because they're all the same, copy and paste, same beard. They're just, they're just the same person.
Yeah, it's true.
Same fighting style, and I got Oliveira winning. Unbiased. I would still take Oliveira, but my bias is thinking that Oliveira might make it look easier than we think, which I don't see that necessarily, but that's how I feel kind of bias-wise. But I have Oliveira. I think it'll be by submission. I think his stand-up game and the clinch work, like what he showed against Poirier with the knees, which I understand Islam's better in the clinch than Poirier, But I could see that making Islam panic shoot because he's not fought anybody high level, just to say it bluntly. He's not.
He's not.
And that's my main issue with this fight. You know that well. I talk about it all the time. But I think Islam will panic shoot right into a guillotine, go sleep, or tap.
Yeah, I could see that. I was going to bring up something. You talk about, Islam not fighting anyone high level. I think that's what makes this fight so interesting. We have no idea how good Islam is. We have no idea. Zero clue. No one in this world knows how good that man is besides what Khabib has said about him. That is it. That is literally it. You cannot go off Dan Hooker. You can't go off Dan Hooker. He's awful. Dan Hooker's awful. You can't go off. You can't go off.
Bobby Green.
You can't go off Bobby Green. It was late notice. And speaking of Dan Hooker, it was late notice. It was a week notice too.
Yeah, that's kind of shameless.
Yeah, so like
then he wouldn't fight RDA, man.
So the only fight, and then he went off Moises, which he struggled in. That's a bad matchup for Islam. I'm not trying to give him credit or anything, but that's an awful matchup. Which you could argue Oliveira is literally just an upgraded version of Moises. So I think that's what makes this fight just crazy interesting, in my opinion. Is I have no idea. It's kind of like the Alex Pierre and Sean Strickland fight a little bit. You have no idea how good Alex Pierre is. He's fought no one near the level of Sean Strickland. And, of course, we all know how that fight went. I'm not saying that's how this one's going to go. But I'm just saying it's a similar fight in, like, the way we have to think about it, kind of. So that leads me to my early prediction, though. You went Oliveira. I think this fight's going to be, again, 50-50. You can't name one Oliveira fight that's not 50-50. I'm going to go Islam right now by decision early on. Way early on, I'm going to go by decision. But I think this fight is very, very... Winner is going to make it look easy. That's what I'm going to say. I think there's two paths to this. I think either Islam mauls him, and it's because Islam is as good as everyone says he is, and he is this, like, ultimate guy and all this other crap, and he just takes him down. And I don't think Oliveira's jiu-jitsu is going to play as big as a deal as people think it is. I think once you're at a certain level in jiu-jitsu, it kind of cancels out all other jiu-jitsus. We've seen this happen in the past with, like, Damian Maia and people like that who are specialists in it. Once someone's good enough in it, they can't submit them. Like, look at Michael Chandler. He was good enough in it, he couldn't submit him. And then it is what it is, And I don't think he'll play that big of a role. I think Oliveira's path to victory is keeping this fight standing up, and I think he could definitely do that. And here's that leads me to the way I think Oliveira could win, is Islam tries to shoot, and can't get him down at all. His jiu-jitsu's too good, he's too strong, and he just pieces him up on the feet and knocks him out. And I think like a TKO type style, like curled up against the fence and he drops after the fifth hit, I think that I could see something like that. He'd be in a bloody mess. So I think whoever wins this fight, I think it's going to be Oliveira throwing a masterclass performance on the feet. Maybe, like you said, maybe a submission. And I think the way I could see a submission happen is him piecing him up and he's against the fence, jumps on a guillotine or something, just pulls him down, submits him. Or I could see Oliveira I could see Islam, just winning all 5 rounds by takedowns and control time. And I could honestly see Islam getting a submission. I think there's a higher chance of Islam getting a submission than Oliveira getting a submission. That's my hot take for this fight. And the reason why I say that is because I think if anyone's going to be on top of anyone throughout this whole fight, it's going to be Islam. If someone's going to be on top of somebody on the ground, it's going to be Islam. And I'm not going to bank on Oliveira getting a submission off the back against someone as talented as Islam. So I'm not going to bank on that. But I'm going to go Islam early. By the time I promise you I'll switch my pick 100 times before we get there. So I don't know. But early on, I'll just say Islam since you went Oliveira.
Yeah, and another point is, like, you remember the Khabib-Poirier fight. Khabib shoots heavyweight.
Yeah.
Getting a phone call. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
The whole thing just went away. Okay. Poirier gets kind of half taken down and throws a guillotine and almost gets Khabib. Yep. Like, it's that close.
Yeah, if Oliveira gets that guillotine, it's in.
100%. That's what I'm saying.
Yep, I agree.
If Islam makes a kind of two-head first of a shot and Oliveira expects it, I think the fight's over.
Yeah, I could.
So I'd be worried if I was Islam. I wouldn't be shooting as much as people think he would, unless he's that good, to the point where he cannot be submitted.
Yeah,
which I doubt. I have my doubt.
But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing about the guillotine is it's kind of like, it's kind of like not a Hail Mary type deal, but it's almost like, hey, you get it in, you win. You don't get it in, you lose that round 100% because you're stuck down there. You know what I'm saying?
Most likely.
Yeah. Because what you do when you go for a guillotine, you give them complete guard if you don't get that in, if they pop their head up. So, it's risky. It's risky if Oliveira goes that route. I think Oliveira should...
He won't.
No. I think Oliveira should try to keep it standing. But I think like a way he can get up is throw up submissions. Like, throw up a triangle, make him back up and defend it. You defend a submission, boom, pop up to your feet. Like, stuff like that. And, man, I just hope he can offer that. And I could see, though, kind of maybe crawling, like, Islam shoots, maybe he's a little tired, it's the 4th round. Oliveira stuffs it, gets on the back submission, maybe like he did Poirier. I could see that. That might be an option for him. But let's move on here. We took way too much time on one fight. All right, moving on. I've already flipped over my paper. I'm a dum-dum. All right, MLB. We got a lot of things to talk about MLB. It's the All-Star break, so we got a bunch of things. We're going to start off with later tonight is the Home Run Derby. I got the bracket pulled up right here practically. So I'm going to hit you with a thing, and you're going to tell me who you think your winner is going to be of that round. And I'll tell you who I think my winner is going to be. So first one is Kyle Schwarber versus Albert Pujols. Who you got there?
Schwarber.
I got Kyle Schwarber too.
Easily wins that.
Yeah, 100%. All right, next one. Jan Soto versus Jose Ramirez.
That's a good one. I think that one will come down to like 3 home runs or less. It's going to be close. I'm going to go Juan Soto.
Yeah, I'm going Jan Soto too. I'm going to go with Jan Soto too. Okay, next. Pete Alonso versus Acuna.
Bad draw for Acuna. My boy. I got to go Pete. Pete Alonso's going to win that one.
I'm going Pete Alonso too. It's funny how the Mets and the Braves kind of go against each other there. That's funny. That's like almost they did that on purpose. Moving on. Corey Seager versus Rodriguez. Who you got there?
I'm going to go Julio Rodriguez, the rookie. I think he gets it done.
I am also going Rodriguez. I think he gets it done there, too. All right, so that moves on to our semifinals, which will be Kyle Schwarber versus Jan Soto. Who you got there?
Schwarber.
You got it. Yeah, I got Kyle Schwarber, too. And then moving on, Pete Alonso versus... Did you say his first name's Julio Rodriguez?
Julio Rodriguez? Yeah,
I didn't even know that was his first name. All right, Julio Rodriguez versus Pete Alonso. Who you got there?
I got Pete Alonso.
I also got Pete Alonso. And then that moves on to the championship. We'll see if we disagree on even one here. Kyle Schwarber versus Pete Alonso. Who do you got? Who's winning?
I got Kyle Schwarber.
All right, I got Pete Alonso. There we go. All right, we finally disagree.
I don't see Pete going 3 in a row, but it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, 100%. It wouldn't shock me if Kyle Schwarber won either. But, yeah, I'll go Pete just because he's been so dominant in the last 2. Okay, so moving on. We got the All-Star Game Tuesday. Who do you think wins the All-Star Game, the American League or the National League, Jake?
Well, the American League's won it 100 million times in a row, I feel like. And dummy Brian Snitker is starting Clayton Kershaw instead of Sandy Alcantara, so I'm going American League by default, dude. They got Shane McClanahan starting. Clayton Kershaw will choke that. He'll give up at least 2 runs.
I'm gonna go
home stadium.
I'm gonna go National League.
Yeah, I would. I hope so. I hope National League.
I'll get done. Who do you think's gonna win the All-Star MVP?
There's a lot of guys dropping out. A lot of the big names like Trout and stuff have dropped out of it. I kind of feel like Shohei could do it. He's batting leadoff for the American League. I could see it happen to Acuna. He's batting leadoff for the National League. One of those two wouldn't shock me. I'll go Shohei.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's kind of the easy pick, but he didn't win it last year. Who won it last year?
I can't remember.
It was Guerrero Jr.
You're right.
He won it last year. But I could see Shohei winning. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going Paul Goldschmidt. I think he'll win for that. I think he'll win the MVP right there in that All-Star game. I think he'll have 2 hits. 2 hits, but I think he'll get like 2 or 3 RBIs out of both of them. So that's what I'm going with. Yeah. All right, moving on. Let's do this is the big one. This is our mid-season point playoff predictions. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna give you my American League seeds, okay, and you're gonna give me your American League seeds. I'm gonna give you my National League seeds.
Wait, is it like I thought it was like set seeds though?
No,
so that would be the same.
No. We're doing what we think it's gonna be at the end of the year. Like if our opinions change, like a full-on prediction.
Okay.
Okay.
I get what you're saying.
Okay. You're probably gonna need time then to look that up, aren't you? Or like,
go ahead and do yours. It won't take me that much time.
Okay, I'll do mine. Okay, so starting it off, American League. In the 1 seed, I have the Yankees. In the 2 seed, I have Houston. The 3 seed, I have the White Sox. And the 6 seed, so who the White Sox will be taking on, I have Boston. In the 5 seed, I have the Twins. And in the 4 seed, I have Tampa Bay. Those are my seeds. I think Toronto, you might be wondering where they're at. Don't think they'll make it. I think they'll get.
They better make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think the Twins and Boston will end up passing them up for the wild card spot towards the end of the season. So
let me get my American League before you go to the National League real quick. I'm trying to get my app. Okay, so real fast. Okay, American League. My 1 seed is going to be Houston.
Okay,
I think Houston's going to take the 1 seed. 2 seed will be the Yankees. 3 seed would be. I agree with Chicago. I think they come I think Chicago comes all the way back and wins that division.
Yeah.
For the 3 seed.
Yeah, and they're only 3 games behind.
Yeah. And then 4 seed. I'm going to say Seattle.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to say Seattle. And then the 5 seed, Twins. 6 seed. No. 5 seed Tampa, 6 seed Twins.
Okay. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I think Seattle will fall apart again towards the second half. That's just what I got with them.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, so
I have Boston going into like a semi-rebuild.
It wouldn't shock.
I think they should.
It wouldn't shock me if they sell right here in the next 2 weeks, and I just have to change my pick completely. It wouldn't shock me at all. Moving on, National League. For the 1 seed, I got the Dodgers. For the 2 seed, I have the Braves. For the 3 seed, I have the Cardinals. For the 4 seed, I have the Mets. For the 5 seed, I have Milwaukee. And for the 6 seed, I have the Padres.
Okay. Yeah. For the 1 seed, I do have the Dodgers, and they might have the 1 seed by a lot, too. They're on pace for a really good year. 2 seed, I also have Atlanta. 3 seed, the Cardinals. That's my favorite take from before the season. The Cardinals will win this division. I still think they will. They're only half a game back. And then the 4 seed, I have it being Milwaukee. The 5 seed, Padres. 4 seed actually is going to be the Padres. 5 Milwaukee. 6. Oh wait, I forgot the Mets.
That's how it sounds like. Holy
4 seed Mets. The Braves. Whoever wins that division wins it by like really few amount of games. I think it's good. I forgot the Mets. Oops.
I was like, you're getting rid of the Mets.
No. 4 seeds Mets. 5 seed is going to be the Padres, and 6 seed will be Milwaukee. My bad.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. So our 3 seed versus our 6 seed in the American League. Mine is the White Sox versus Boston. This is going to be 3 games at White Sox. And I'm going to take White Sox in 3. I think Boston might pull one off, but I'll go White Sox in 3. They win.
Yeah.
Who's your 3 and 6 seed in the American League?
I already forgot. 3 seed was the White Sox.
Yeah. And I think your 6 seed was
should have written it down.
Yeah, I think it was the Twins.
Yeah, I'll go White Sox in 2. Twins
Okay.
don't win a playoff game in a million years. I'll just go White Sox.
Okay, moving on. All right, so then let's go. We'll just knock out the American League first. Then we'll go to our 4 and 5 seed. My 4 seed's Tampa. My 5 seed's Twins. I have Tampa Bay winning in 2. I think Twins are a losing organization.
Yeah. I
think. Did you have Toronto and Tampa?
I thought I had
No,
Tampa and Seattle.
You did. You did Tampa and Seattle. You're right.
I think so. Yeah, I had Tampa and Seattle. I'm actually going to go Seattle in 3.
Okay.
Seattle in 3. I said before the season they win a playoff series. I think they win this one against Tampa.
Okay, nice. All right, so that moves on to our 2 versus my 3 seed, which is the White Sox versus Houston. Houston dominated them last year in the playoffs, and I think it happens again. I think Houston dominates them again in the playoffs. Houston goes to the ALCS. Who you got in your... For you,
what seed are we doing, you say?
So this would be your 2 seed. So that would be the Yankees for you.
Yankees.
And then that would be versus, I guess the White Sox, right? That's who you had winning it. So, yeah. So it'd be Yankees versus White Sox for you.
This will be a 5-game set. Yes, I'll have Yankees in 4.
Okay. The Yankees are going to your LCS. For me, I had Tampa Bay winning their wild card game, so it's Tampa versus Yankees for me in the ALDS, and I got Yankees by sweepage. I think they'll sweep them, clean them up, get them off the field. Yankees go to the ALCS. Who you got?
So I would have Houston and Mariners.
Yep.
Then. Right. Okay. I don't know why this is having an issue. Okay, I'll have Houston in 4 as well.
Okay.
I think Seattle picks up a game, but Houston's a little better. So.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Okay, so we both have Yankees and Houston on opposite sides of the bracket coming in for the ALCS, and I'm going Yankees in 7 in a historic series. But I think Yankees get them back for whenever they got put out for cheating. I think they'll add a little flame to the Yankees, and I think they get done and they go to the World Series this year. Who you got?
I'm going to go Houston. Going right back again. I'll have Houston. Houston 6. I want to say 5. I'll have Houston at 6. I think Garrett Cole absolutely throws the first game, in my opinion. And then no one even remembers that Houston's going to get their ace back sometime late in the season, Lance McCullers Jr.
Yeah.
And their pitch rotation is already top tier. That's ridiculous.
He probably won't even pitch that first game either, because Justin Verlander.
No, he won't.
Yeah, Justin Verlander is like literally second or third for Cy Young running right now.
Yeah, I meant ace last year. He's not their ace this year. Obviously, Verlander's way better, but yeah,
it's crazy how good Verlander's been.
Yeah,
but I would dream of that series, man. I cannot wait for that. That's gonna be fire. So let's go to the National League now. So I have the Yankees in the American League in the World Series. You have the Astros in the American League. So let's go to the National League. So my 6 versus 3 seed. My 3 seeds were the Cardinals. My 6 were the Padres. I have the Padres pulling out the upset against the Cardinals in 3 at Cardinals. I think Padres will go to the NLDS. Who do you got? Let's see.
So my 3 was the Cardinals.
Yep. And then yours.
And my 6 had to have been Milwaukee, I believe.
Okay, so
because it was Mets, Padres, Milwaukee.
Okay, Milwaukee.
So
wow, what a series in division.
Yeah, in the playoffs, dude, I would have to go Milwaukee. Milwaukee probably in 2.
Okay.
Yeah, Milwaukee in 2.
All right, so you got Milwaukee facing the Braves. I got the Padres facing the Braves. Let's go to our other wild card game. I had the Mets versus the Brewers. You had the Mets versus the Padres. So I am going Mets to beat the Brewers by sweepage 2 games. Move on. What you got?
Yeah, I'll have the Mets also. If Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer are there, I'll have the Mets in 2, sadly.
Okay, all right, so that leads us to our NLDS, and I got the Padres versus the Braves. I got the Braves winning that one in 7, actually. I think the Braves will struggle a little bit with this series. I think the Padres will be super hot, but I think the Braves go to the NLCS for the second year in a row. So who you got?
Third year in a row.
Would it? I didn't know that. 3rd year in a row. There you go.
I would have had Atlanta and Milwaukee for this one.
Yes.
We're doing the 2 seed. Yeah, I'll have Atlanta in 3 and 4.
Okay,
Milwaukee
sweepage. Sweeps them up again like they didn't sweep them last year though.
In 4. We won in 4 last year. We'll win in 4 again this year.
Okay. go into my next game. I had the Mets and the Dodgers. I think that's what you had too, right? It's Mets and Dodgers for this game as well, because you had Mets beating, yeah. So we both have Mets and Dodgers for the other NLDS. And I got Dodgers here in 7. I think it's going to be a great series. I think it's going to be awesome. But I'm going Dodgers in 7. So I think the NLDS, both series will be awesome series.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Dodgers Mets for me. I'll have Dodgers and 5. Mainly because I think Max Scherzer's arm, but he's old. By that time, that's what happened last year with Scherzer. So I'm going off past experience. That's one reason he lost the game to the Braves. His arm was dead by that time. He's old. Jacob deGrom will get the game, then the Dodgers win the rest of those games.
All right, so that both leads us to the NLCS, and we have the same team, Dodgers and Braves. I have Dodgers. Yes, I have Dodgers winning in 6 this time. I think the Dodgers will get payback from last year, and I think they'll revenge and go to the World Series to face the Yankees for me. What do you got?
I want to take the Braves, but right now I do believe the Dodgers would beat them probably in 7. I would say Dodgers in 7. Really great series, but I could see it being a few blowouts on both sides in that series, though. It depends on who's pitching. It could be good games and some bad games, not entertaining, but Dodgers in 7.
Yep, and then that leads me to my World Series where I have the New York Yankees versus the Dodgers, and I'm going to take the Yankees in 5. It's the Yankees in 5. I think the Dodgers have like a meltdown. They're a losing organization, and I think the Yankees win the World Series, and the drought's over for them. What do you got?
I have Houston and Dodgers, and I'm going to go Houston beats them once again. Houston's got them again, and it'll probably be Houston in 6.
All right, so your playoff predictions: Houston to win the World Series. Mine is the Yankees to win the World Series. We got some comments here. Emma said, "I see the Vision Hunter, not the Brewers losing though," with a sad emoji. I forgot she's from she likes that area. So.
Well, no, her last name's Brewer.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That's funny. I didn't even think about that. Okay. Moving on. American League MVPs and Cy Youngs and National League's MVPs for Cy Youngs if the season was to end today. My American League MVP would be still Yordan Alvarez, even though he's been out for a while, with an average of 306, 26 home runs, and a 1.0508 OPS, which still leads the majors. What do you got?
Yeah, I'd go on Alvarez, too. He's definitely the best hitter in baseball right now.
Yeah. All right, so moving on, National League MVP. I got Paul Goldschmidt still with a 330 average, which is absolutely ridiculous. Still managing to have 20 home runs plus that, and a 1.004 OPS. Who you got?
I'll still have Paul Goldschmidt, but I'll tell you who we'll have in 5 weeks is Juan Soto. Wow. Soto will end up winning MVP this year. But Goldschmidt's got it right now.
Okay. All right, so American League Cy Young, I have Shane McClanahan, who's the best pitcher in the Major League Baseball, who has a 1.71 ERA, 147 strikeouts, and a 0.80 WHIP. Here you go.
Yeah, Shane McClanahan is a shoo-in right now. It's not close.
No, it's not close. And for the National League Cy Young, I have Sandy Alcantara. He has passed up Tony Gonzalez now. He has passed him up. He has, I got to admit it. 1.76 ERA, 123 strikeouts, and a 0.90 WHIP. Been amazing all year. Good for him. Who you got?
Yeah, my side of things, I've had Sandy Alcantara, but now the gap's even bigger. It's less of a debate now. Sandy Alcantara's way ahead now. It's Tony Gonsolin pooped the bed against the Cardinals. So,
Emma said, "No, I want to see Freddie cry." That's awful.
Freddie cry. Oh, no, he will cry. Probably.
He will cry. He'll. God, I didn't even think about that series with Freddie versus Braves, and that's.
He'll own us though. It's bad. It's what happens when you get rid of people.
All right, moving on. NBA. Actually, there's a little something to talk about here. James Harden said he is good to stay with the Sixers. He is okay with it. It's whatever the Sixers want to do, he said. So I think that's pretty interesting. Who else is on the Sixers with James Harden?
Joel Embiid is a really good player. Yeah. He's on there, and they have a few other guys that are good. Not superstar level like those two, but they're good. Teams.
That's interesting for James Harden because I'd figured he'd want to go to a superstar team. How far did the Sixers make it last year?
I think they lost in the first or second round. They made it to the conference finals a couple of years ago. They'll be good, and I thought it was more interesting that James Harden took a pay cut.
Yeah, that's true.
Try to build the roster. Maybe. He wants to win. He realizes his career is coming. It's close.
So that's good for James Harden. Maybe he'll step up. Maybe he'll learn a little defense while he's at it. Moving on to the NFL. Justin Jefferson said Devontae Adams is the best wide receiver in the league, but Justin Jefferson also said, "I am soon to be the best." I thought that was interesting.
It's a good take.
Let me ask you a question here. Okay, so you said good take. So this kind of leads me into my question for it. If you had to take one wide receiver for the next 5 years, and you're building a team, You can only have one. Is it going to be Devontae Adams or Justin Jefferson? 5 years.
I'll take Justin Jefferson pretty easily.
Okay.
Main reasoning is that Devontae Adams is very, very good. We all know that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a natural, just get in the league and be the best.
Mm-hmm.
He had to take years to get better and better, work hard to get better, which is fine, whatever. Not like to hold it against him, but like Justin Jefferson's been in the league 2 years and he's already top 2, 3, undeniably wide receiver.
Yeah.
I'd like to see what he can get, how much better he can get in 5 years.
100%. And I'm interested for 5 years. I feel like that's not, I'll go Justin Jefferson too. I think if it was 10 years, it's clearly Justin Jefferson. But I think 5 years makes it a lot more interesting. And I also think Devontae Adams, let's see how good he is without Aaron Rodgers too. I'm not trying to say that had a lot to do with it, because let's admit it. One of them had to benefit from having, obviously they both benefited from having each other, but one of them had to benefit a lot more. Either Devontae Adams was super duper good because Aaron Rodgers was throwing to him, or Aaron Rodgers was super duper good because he was throwing Devontae Adams. And it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe if it's Aaron Rodgers. So I'm going to lean more towards just Devontae Adams benefiting off Aaron Rodgers throwing to him than it's the other way around. So.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers won a couple MVPs before Devontae Adams got in the NFL. So
that's kind of what I was saying.
It would shock me if I don't think the Packers will be as good this year, but it would shock me if Aaron Rodgers fell off when Devontae Adams.
Yeah, he should still have good numbers because he's still like a top tier quarterback, obviously. So I would also take Justin Jefferson for the 5 years. The only thing that scares me, Justin Jefferson also got his like numbers and stats with Kirk Cousins thrown to him, so I'm okay with taking Justin Jefferson. If I can go get me a good quarterback like Trevor Lawrence to throw behind him, Justin Jefferson will be in good shape. So so that kind of wraps it up. You got anything, any topics you want to throw out there, anything like that? And then if the comments, you guys got anything to say, go ahead and drop them now. We'll answer.
Really fast. Early prediction: Jake Paul versus the dude he's fighting.
Oh, Jake Paul by riggage.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think they're not gonna let Jake Paul lose, even if it's not rigged. Say if that other dude starts piecing them up, they'll slip him like a $20 million paycheck, like while he's over there in the ring or something. And Jake Paul will do his little head signal, and then that dude will fall over from air. So
it's true.
I mean, I'm not hyped for that fight at all, to be completely honest.
No,
I don't care.
I don't think it'll sell more than 20K pay-per-view. Because his last one sold like 70.
That'd be bad.
He'll talk like it sold 500,000, but
because it's like I've honestly, while we're here and we're giving, if anyone that want to chat, time to type, while we're here, I think a lot of like MMA, UFC, and boxing and stuff like that, you have to make your card good enough where people don't want to take the chance to pirate. Yeah. You literally that's how you sell pay-per-views. Your card has to be good enough to where people don't want to take the chance to pirate, because anything
like miss it.
Yeah, because anything could happen while you pirate. So if you buy it, you're safe. You pirate. See, Jake Paul's, that's a clear pirate fight to me. I mean, it is.
We couldn't say that if we had a lot of subscribers. We get a lot of trouble for that.
Seriously though, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Just pull it up. I don't pirate fights, but if you're one of those people that do, clear pirate fight. You just pull it up.
You wouldn't dare spend one.
No. Why would you buy this card? It's useless, especially who they're gonna throw on it. Right? The only way it sells like good is if Mike Tyson's the co-main or something like that, and Mike Tyson ain't being the co-main to nothing. So Jake Paul would definitely be the co-main. Or if they like, hey, Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather's going to be the main event, they're the co-main, then it's going to sound like it's going to sell crap tons. But that's a different story. We got no comments, so you good to wrap it up or anything else?
I'm good.
All right, this is the longest one we've had in a minute. So if you guys watched all the way through this, we appreciate it. If you're watching it live, thank you for tuning in, and if you're watching it through recording, thank you for watching it through recording. We do these every Monday. We change up the time every time, so just be looking. It really depends what our schedule is on Mondays on what the time is, but it's usually on Monday. Always, if you miss it, you can always go rewatch it. And yeah, subscribe to the second channel, Boogie Gaming, and that will do.